So anyway, here we are at Rose Valley Lake in Lycoming County. First ice fishing tournament of the year for the Northeast Panfish League. Everybody headed out on the ice a little bit ago, and I'm going to be heading out there myself in a couple moments to check with some of the fishermen, see how they're doing. And this is our first live feed video. We're going to try to do one of these for each of our tournaments, both ice fishing and open water series. And first thing I'd like to do, obviously, is I'd like to thank all of our sponsors for taking the time to help us out and donating some prizes and stuff that we can hand out to the fishermen. We have some really good companies standing behind us, and we have some really good ice fishermen out here today. I know a couple of the guys have been fishing tournaments, both the ice team, the NIAFC, the Northeast Ice Tour, and now the Northeast Panfish League for quite a few years, and definitely some top-notch fishermen out there. One of the things I'll tell you is that this lake is known among the locals for being very difficult to fish. Again, it's called Rose Valley Lake, but a lot of the locals, they like to call it Death Valley because they say there's not any fish in here worth catching. And my guess is that some of these top-notch fishermen are going to find good fish because they always do. You can put them on just about any lake in the ice belt, and they're going to find fish, and they're going to do well in the tournament. And I'm looking forward to see how they do. So now we're going to take some time and head out there and talk to some of these guys. We're going to shoot a little bit of footage here, and first person we're coming along here is Greg Weigel. He was our Angler of the Year last year for 2013. And how are we making out so far today?
Slow. Marking some, but slow.
Okay. Well, we're only about, what, a half hour into the tournament?
Yeah, sounds right.
Okay. Well, we'll check back with you a little bit later then and see how things are going.
I'll have a bucket for you.
Okay. That's all. I'll tell you what, there's going to be probably about half the teams here today won't weigh a limit, and is my guess. And there's some big fish in here, so it's only going to take a second or two to pop one up. And so we'll see what happens, and good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, and here we are with John Butler. John, look up at us and give us a smile, man. How you making out today?
Good.
You getting a couple?
Yep, I got a couple.
You got a couple crappies?
Nah, bluegills.
Bluegills? Okay, well, that's what it might take, you know.
Hopefully.
I think the bluegills in here, probably the average bluegill weighs more than the average perch.
Yes, it does.
I mean,
I would say.
Okay, you just getting them on little jigs? You fishing plastics or you fishing bait?
Bait.
Bait? Waxworms?
Waxworms.
Waxworms? Okay.
On glow jigs.
On glow jigs? What color glow jigs?
White.
White? White glow. Okay. Okay, well, we're going to make the rounds here and check with some other people. We'll check in with you a little later. Okay. See how you're making out.
All right.
Still early yet. You're doing better than anybody else I've talked to so far. Good luck, John.
Yep, thank you.
Here we are with Ron Wagner. And Ron's pretty much a long-time touring ice fishing pro, if you will. Fishes a lot of our tournaments, both open water and on the ice. And he used to fish the Northeast Ice Tour. And I know he's ice fished in Vermont and New York and an awful lot here in Pennsylvania. How are we making out today, Ron? Look up and give us a smile. Come on, man. There you go.
Nice.
There you
Be better.
But you're getting some fish.
Few.
A couple few. Bluegills? Crappies? Perch?
Bluegills.
Bluegills, you don't want to say. You don't want to let it in your secret. Don't worry, I'm not going to share it. Not yet, anyway. I might share it at the end of the day, you know. Now we run into John Comstock and Dave Harrison, partners here. And these guys are also fairly experienced tournament pros, so to say. John, look here. Are you a pro, John?
I have been paid before.
You have been paid before to fish. You see, I mean, how do you beat that? The guy gets paid to fish.
That's right.
And he doesn't go hungry. He doesn't look like the kind of guy that goes hungry.
No.
And here he is, another guy using an ice hopper. You know, there's only a couple of teams out here using the ice hoppers. We'll see. I'd be curious to see where all those teams finish. And I know you guys say you have a couple decent ones, putting a good weight together. What are you guys using, Dave?
I just a little orange Kodiak jig and a little Adam micro nuggie.
Little Adam micro nuggie. Yep. Is there a color that's the hot color?
I've been fishing a pink tail, but John's been fishing a glow or whatever, and we've been doing about the same. So.
Okay.
It hasn't really made much of a difference. The biggest problem is it's actually seeing fish.
Now, you told me earlier this is the first time you've ever ice fished here?
Yeah.
Yeah? And what do you think of it so far?
It's better than I expected from what I've heard about the lake. I can tell you that.
Yeah, everybody calls it Death Valley instead of Rose Valley, but
Yeah,
you get guys out here that know what they're doing, and there's actually some very nice fish to be caught.
there's some fish in here, that's for sure.
Okay. So what do? You guys are fairly near the boundary out here. If we look over there, we can see the cones that sets up the boundary. And you guys just sort of headed out this way. I noticed you had some holes drilled coming out here.
We just sort of poked and hoped. We didn't really have the game plan or anything.
Just kept moving until you found fish.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's take a... I don't know if we'll be able to see in this bucket or not. And I know there's some nice fish in there, but I'm not getting my hands wet at the moment, so... Okay, now we're going to come up on two other gentlemen here that are in the tournament with us. This is Biff and his partner Dalton there. And they're here working there also. Oh, his son, okay. That's even better. And they're out here, they're also out here near the cones where we have the boundary set up. You can see the cones out there as we look out towards the middle of the lake. And the reason we have the boundaries is because out on the other side of those cones was open water just a couple days ago. And it's all capped over now, but we really don't know how thick the ice is out there, and we couldn't find any volunteers to go out and check for us. So, well, what do you think of the quality of the fish in this lake so far, from what you've seen?
Some nice fish in this lake if you can find them.
There.
Like I said, in the open water we caught a lot of big bluegills, so they're here. You just gotta find them.
Okay.
You can't get to where I caught
I know you said you have one really nice perch in your bucket here. Take a look in your bucket here. If I can get your bucket open. Yeah, see that? I'll tell you what. When you have a perch that won't fit in a bucket, it's a nice perch. Anywhere in the country.
You don't think that's the biggest one, huh?
Well, from the fish I've seen so far, I'm not going to say it's not the biggest one, but it's going to be in contention. Because I've seen probably about a half dozen fish or that general size. Seen some very thick crappies too, and the crappies tend to weigh a little bit more because they're fatter fish. Yeah, seen some nice crappies. So anyway, we'll move on here and see how the other guys are doing. And good luck to you guys. Got plenty of time left. You know, it only takes literally 2 or 3 minutes to pull in a limit of fish. You know, so if you find that magic spot, that's all it takes. Okay, we're continuing on our little quest here, talking to people. We're gonna stop and talk to Ernie here. His partner Matt's over there. They've been catching a few out of Death Valley Lake here. What do you think? You ever heard people call this lake Death Valley?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they say there's no fish in here worth catching.
That's right.
What do you fish it a lot?
Second time ever.
Second time you ever fished it?
Yep.
And catching nice fish?
Sure.
Would you say that they're
Yeah.
good? You happy with the quality of the fishing for being the second time you've ever fished here?
Oh yeah.
I see I got a bucket there. Let me.
Yeah.
And those are just some huge bluegills. I mean, look at them. I mean, that's a couple crappies in there. I see there's a big perch down there in the bottom swimming around. Oh, you're gonna get your hands cold for me, aren't you? And wet. Look at the size of that perch. I mean, that, ladies and gentlemen, is a perch. What do you, Now, you told me you've been catching some bass and some pickerel.
Yeah.
You really don't want to catch them, especially the pickerel if you're using expensive
Yeah,
jigs.
when the pickerels move in, the panfish slow down. So.
What have you been using mostly?
Jigs and spoons.
Jigs and spoons?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, have you guys both been catching equal numbers of fish, or is one of you
Yeah, it's pretty even.
pretty even?
Yeah.
It's a team effort?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, well, I'm glad to see you adding on that water there to keep them alive.
Trying.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. Anyway, we're going to continue on here and talk to some other people. But it's good to see that people are catching quality fish here. I think a lot of the locals are going to be surprised.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens at weigh-in time. We're back with John Comstock here, and he just keeps moving around here with his little ice hopper there, and he's going to show us how he fishes a jig. And I've been told the fishing has slowed down a little bit now that the sun's up high and stuff. How deep you got there water depth, John?
I have 14 feet right here.
14 feet, okay. Now, is this the same general area that you guys have been fishing? Or were you fishing shallow earlier?
It's mostly been between 12 and 14.
12 to 14 foot, okay.
We came out in the deeper water, try to find the old creek bed.
Yep.
And we caught a couple, but yeah, they're not congregated today, so we'll find them.
Okay, and basically there you're just holding your rod pretty much steady, but you're giving it a real quick wiggle there, sort of pounding it like.
Yeah, just until I see some on the fish finder, and if I don't, well, no sense jigging where there aren't any fish.
That's true. That's true. Okay, well, that sun went back behind a cloud again. Maybe that's what it'll take. Go over here to Dave. Dave's going to catch a fish for us. Somebody's going to catch a fish for me before my battery dies. But so far, we've seen some nice fish getting caught. We haven't seen numbers yet, but we've seen certainly some quality fish that a lot of people would tell you aren't in here, and John's going to try moving over to his other hole. How many holes do you think you guys are going to fish today?
200?
Probably fish 200 holes today?
Yeah.
Okay.
Easy.
We'll fish about 75 or so already.
Fish 75 or so already, and we can't be probably no more than 2 hours into the tournament, I wouldn't think.
We're averaging about one fish every 10 holes.
You're averaging one fish every 10 holes. Okay, well, that's not bad, though. If you've drilled 75 holes and if you got 7 fish, you're only 5 fish away from the limit. Okay, here we go. John hooked one here for us. Team effort here. What pound test line, John?
2.
2 pound test. Okay, and that's pretty much what most guys out here are using when they're jigging. Catching some nice little fish here. Oh, that's a nice perch. Let's get a look at
up there.
Yeah, that is a nice perch for this lake. And they call this Death Valley Lake. Sort of makes you wonder why. Good job, John.
Thanks.
That'll help. And that's just that's evidence that, you know, again, like I said, these guys are going to drill 200 holes today. And for the other teams that drill 10 holes and only catch 1 fish, they're saying they're averaging 1 fish for every 10 holes. That might explain why. Okay, John's going to show us some of the fish he got here so far today. Boy, that is a huge bluegill. Oh, if you look around down in that bucket there, you can see. I mean, that is a nice crappie. I mean, that crappie's as big as a bucket. A couple nice perch in there. Man, that is a fat perch. Man. Okay, well, I don't know, but you know, we got a 10-foot check that you'll be holding up at the end of the day. Right now we're back with Daryl Horton, partner Ron Wagner over there. They've been sort of quiet. I talked to them earlier, and they had some pretty good fish, and I still do. Has it been steady for you throughout the day, or has it been
it slowed down?
Slowed down a little bit here recently? Yeah, that's pretty much the way it has been for everybody. Sun came up and it seems the fish sort of slowed down a little bit. Let me ask you, how many holes do you think you drilled today? You don't have to answer.
No, I'd say probably pushing 100.
Probably pushing 100 holes that you cut today.
Between the two of us.
Okay.
Me and my partner, yeah.
Okay, Daryl already told me he doesn't want to tell me what he's using, so I won't ask him. But I do know that they have some fish here, and they're in contention, I believe. Some nice fish. Nice enough, we'll find out in another hour or so. And here we are, coming back up on Dave Harrison and John Comstock we talked to earlier. They were doing pretty good then. Dave's in the process of drilling a series of holes here. His partner John's following behind him. Things have slowed down for most of the contestants. I presume it's the same way for these guys. They're on a mission to find some fish here. We got about an hour to fish yet. Dave's running along drilling holes and John's following with the flasher. All they're doing right now is they're just drilling holes and looking for fish. Okay, so we just got finished watching Dave and John drill a series of holes here and they were looking for fish. Did you see anything on the flasher offhand, Dave?
No.
Okay. And it's probably been, what, about an hour and a half since I checked in with you guys last.
Yeah, we might have.
How's it been since then?
I think we put 2 more in the bucket. That's it.
Two more. How many more holes do you think you drilled since I talked to you last?
Oh, probably 50 or so.
About 50 more holes and put 2 more in. So
That's it.
earlier today you told me you were averaging 1 fish for every 10 holes.
Yeah.
Now you're up to 1 fish for every 25 holes.
Yeah, pretty much.
Slowed down on you.
Yeah. Not seeing any fish either.
Okay. Well, I think you're still doing very well, and if it makes you feel any better, everybody's sort of been struggling since that sun came up the whole way.
We'll find out in an hour.
We'll find out in an hour, and you got an hour to go, and I know you guys will probably drill another 20 or 30 holes in that hour, and
We'll try it.
wish you the best of luck finding them.
You must not be catching.
Well, we're here. We're getting close to the weigh-in time. Guys are starting to head in here. They have about another 10 minutes yet before they have to be in here, and most of the guys are heading in. I know a couple guys have close to a limit. I don't know if anybody actually got a limit or not. I know some of the guys didn't catch any. It was a tough day of fishing, but there were some nice fish caught. We're going to see some nice fish at weigh-in. So we'll see what happens. Okay, we're getting ready to start the weigh-in here in a couple minutes. And in addition to the cash prizes, we have some pretty cool door prizes here, and we're going to be raffling off and just randomly giving away some tip-ups, some rod and reel combos, some ice checkers, an HT rod case, just some cool stuff that our sponsors have been nice enough to give us. We also have some very cool plaques here for first place, and then we have some other awards for second and third places, and that's in addition to the cash. So we'll be getting started here, and you'll be looking at some big fish here in a moment. There's Greg getting everything together. Big perch, Greiten.
As soon as you say something.
Big perch, 1.09 pounds.
1.09.
1.09.
Is that ounces or is that 0.09 pounds?
4. I'm going to say 7.5.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Oh!
That's it.
That fish is frozen.
There you go.
Not me.
Who said 7.5 pounds?
I did.
7.44.
How about that, huh?
7.44. We have a leader.
That's why we went first.
Video master. That is a nice crab.
Think of that, Charlie. That's one of yours, isn't it?
What does it weigh?
Yeah, well, we might have got a couple like that. Might be a little big.
1.53. 1.53.
This one?
Yeah, that's bigger.
Supposed to have that mark before you come up here.
We did. We put a jig in its mouth, but it fell out.
Perch? Oh my.
Who caught it?
Now wait a minute here. I got a question. Who took second place for Angler of the Year last year? And how much did you lose by? Okay, so that 0.12 pounds everybody's laughing at, that might help him at the end of the year.
I need a video.
Hey,
yeah, don't let him get away with the shame. Get his face in the picture, too.
I got him.
Here, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Hold it out further.
I got lip way out.
Put it clean up in the camera. Stretch.
Ron, you guys get your card?
Okay, here we are with Ron Wagner, Daryl Horton. They just won our first ice fishing tournament of the year. And not only did they win it, but they won it very impressively. They had 10.5 pounds, 10.4 pounds, something right around there. But that was 11 fish. You were one short of the limit, right?
Yep.
Couldn't get that 12th fish. Did you let any small ones go earlier in the day?
No, we kept everything.
Yep, smart move. Because it could have boiled down to a smaller amount. How much pre-fishing did you do, Ron? I know you don't live real far from here. I mean, what are you, about an hour from here?
An hour and 45 minutes.
An hour and 45 minutes. So how much pre-fishing did you guys do?
I came up New Year's Day, fished for about 3-4 hours.
Okay, so that was about a week ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Daryl met me early enough yesterday. We got up and fished a little bit last evening.
And you fished a little bit yesterday afternoon, did you? Were you catching good fish when you were pre-fishing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, very well.
Okay. Were you basically fishing the same area today? I noticed that you really didn't move. I noticed you drilled a whole lot of holes, but you were basically drilling a lot of holes in a fairly small area. I mean, how many holes did you drill, do you think?
100.
Yeah.
You drilled 100 holes, and really you never left an area probably half the size of a football field.
Nope.
You know, you just looking for that one fish that you were just going to drop your jig right down in front of.
There's a 1 foot drop off there with some weeds down underneath there that I found New Year's Day, and that's the spot we fished the whole time.
I know you don't want to reveal what you were using, and we respect that, but I'm going to go out on a limb here and say plastics or bait.
Both.
Both. Okay.
I was using plastics.
Okay. Okay. You heard a lot of rumors, a lot of people on the internet, on different websites and stuff, they call this Death Valley Lake. They say there's no fish in here worth catching.
I'd come back next weekend.
Would you? Okay. Yeah. It was. You guys had some very, very impressive fish. So big congratulations, and we'll be seeing you at the next tournament or the tournament after, I hope.
Yeah.
You know, we'll be seeing more of you this year, and again, congratulations.
See how Ron always gets that big one? Yeah, always, yep.
He pushed that down and gave
Yep.
a smaller one.
Those are two nice crappies there. Well, very nice. And here's our third place team, followed by our second place team, followed by our first place team. And over there's Greg, who's about to do some drawings, hopefully, so we can give away some of these prizes. Okay, we got some little jigging combos here we're giving away. I'm going to let them draw some numbers. And we're going to give out all these prizes, and we're going to wrap it up then and start getting ready for our next tournament. And we hope to see you there, because it's a panfish tournament, and anybody at all can catch panfish. Not everybody can catch them as good as others, but anybody can catch panfish.